Jimmy Smith is the #1 overall all-time income earner in this entire company. And he started his business at 74 years old as a butcher. And I put his bio, I sent it out. But here's what I want you all to know about Jimmy Smith. So when I started in ISAGENIX, I was telling you, it was Hurricane Irene. Literally, trees were falling. I was sitting in the driveway. We had to evacuate. And we all evacuated, and we rented this huge house with all my neighbors. And the kids were loving it, and everybody was like partying. And I sat for almost 2 hours and called this person Jimmy Smith. I am not in his downline. And Jimmy was unbelievable. I had just walked away from my income. Unlike many of you, I was in another network marketing company, and you can't be in 2 network marketing companies and recruit. You have to give up your income. And I resigned from that company. I didn't try to do both and serve 2 masters and see if I just left the money on the table. And I started to freak out. And I called Jimmy Smith, and he was unbelievable. And about a week and a half later, Jimmy showed up in my living room. Do you remember this, Dee Gunderson? And you remember that? And did a meeting for my team. And I will say, I really think that's one of the reasons, Jimmy, I have been so incredibly successful right out of the gate is I didn't just listen to you, I heard you. You spoke to my soul. I knew what was possible. And you embody emotional fitness in this industry. You lead from your heart, but think very much like a businessman. And it's never been a hobby. It's always been incredibly serious to you. Jimmy has gone on to make over $75 million with his family in the last 20 years in this business. So for all the people who say it doesn't work, or it's just a side hustle, or it's a little bit of money, it was a lot harder when Jimmy did it than it is now. So heart is a mind state. It's a state of mind. It is an interpretation of what we project our reality to be. And Jimmy Smith, Jimmy, are you 94 or 5 now?
I'm 94. I'll be 95 my next birthday, March 19th.
Okay.
Next year, I'll be 95.
Unbelievable. So at 90, almost 95 years old, is still getting on as a servant leader. There are no excuses. And I think that's really what you're all about. And I'm going to pass the call over to you. Take notes. It's recorded. You will listen to this over and over and over again. And I really, in all my years in this business and in business, I've never, ever met anyone like you. You are one of my dearest friends. And he is, if this call doesn't inspire you to do what you have not done yet, then I don't know, maybe you need a brain cleanse or something, because there is no one in the industry like you. I love you so much. Thank you for getting on. I'm going to pass the call over to Jimmy.
Thank you, Lisa. That was a beautiful introduction. You mind if I make you president of my fan club?
I am.
I know you are. I know you are with that introduction. You have to be. But I remember the day I came to your house. They said, I need about 60 people in your family room and living room. They were all over the place. And you said to me, I said to you, I said, I can do the product or I can do the business. Which one do you want me to do? You said to me, Jimmy, you're the #1 income earner. Do the business. Teach the numbers, teach the business. So that's what I did. And it was great. I really enjoyed it. And you're a beautiful person and a beautiful friend. And, you know, I had done the same thing you had done. I had walked away from 5,000 a week at 74 to start all over again. And I knew it worked for me, and I knew it would work for you. Because you were much better looking than me, and you were much more educated than me. And I figured if I could do it, you could do it. And I know you could do it, and you did it. And you did the double in spades. So, and thank you for having me on the call. And good Good afternoon, everybody. Now, anything I say today, trust me, please, it's not to impress you, but to impress upon you. If I can do this, if I can start this at 74, Jimmy the Butcher was a butcher for 40 years. Each and every one of you in this call, you have to know that you can do this. And what I'd like to point out today is I'd like to compare things. Comparison proves. I like to compare the company I started with in 2002 with the company you have today. Would that be okay? When we started back in 2002, we only had the 9-day. That's the only product we had. After 9 days, you're out of product. It was a 9-day system. And the first 2 days you ate no food. You drank 4 ounces of cleanse and 8 ounces of water 4 times a day. If you got hungry, you had these little snackies, you could chew on them. Drink a lot of water. You're supposed to drink 8 glasses of water, 8-ounce glasses of water. And you had these little solar caps, 1 in the morning, afternoon. So that was the first 2 days, no food. The next 5 days, you had 2 shakes and 1 meal, small meal, under 1,000 calories. If you got hungry, you had the snackies, little jar of snackies, and you had a solar cap 1 morning. And the last 2 days, you went back to the cleanse. You did 4 ounces of cleanse and 8 ounces of water 4 times a day. If you got hungry, you had the snackies and you had the solar caps, 1 in the morning, 1 afternoon. My dear friends, that was hard. That was brutally hard. Did it work? Absolutely. It worked like a charm. People lost 7 to 15 pounds in 9 days. Were they excited? Absolutely. Now, was it hard to do the first one? Yeah. It was harder to do the second, harder to do the third. I did 2 perfect 9 days in the beginning. And I'll be very truthful with you. I haven't done a perfect 9 days since, but I lost 21 pounds, 4 inches off my waist. I knew the product worked. I can't talk to people about a product unless I know it works, and it has to work for me. So the product worked for me when I start talking to people. Now think about this. Our first 9 months, we did $19 million. Our first full year, we did 38 million. Our second full year, we did 50 million. Now we did 109 million. The first 3 years in business with just a 9-day. Now think back then. There was no Zoom calls. There was no cell phones. and no social media. It was all the old, I flew pace. I drove. I don't know how far it was to your house. At least it was a 2-hour drive, at least, maybe more. I drove to Montreal. I drove to Toronto. I drove to Florida. I drove all over the place. I drove 1,000 miles to Florida to meet Jim and Kathy Coover. When I first got in, a month later, I drove another 1,000 miles back to Atlanta to meet John Anderson. And I drew him. It was hard. It was hard to do. It was hard to do. And my business took off. My business really took off. I knew what I had. I knew what I wanted to do with it. I know what I'm capable of doing with it. And like I became number 2 in the company in like 3 months, 4 months. And I was number 2 in the company for 5 years. And then I got my first I was the second one to get a reentry. Tony Escar got the first reentry. I got my first reentry, and we're making 80,000 a week as a family already. And Kathy Cooper called me up. She says, Jimmy, we gave you a reentry. Why aren't you working? I said, Kathy, I thought it would be greedy. We're making enough money, our family. She said, no, Jimmy, we gave you reentry. We want you to work it. We want you to set the bar higher. We want you to go for number 1. I said, really? I said, okay. 15 months later, that was October. I kicked it off in December, made 4,000 my first month. 15 months later, I was maxed out. Now,
Jimmy, I'm just going to interrupt you. Maxed out is 13,500 a week.
Yeah, my first reentry, I maxed out at 13.5. And then that was 2007. And I've been number 1 ever since. But can you imagine an owner of the company call me up and saying to me, Jimmy, we want you to work reentry. We want you to set the bar higher. We want you to make more money, Jimmy. We want you to be number 1. And I said, sure, I can do that. Now, why was I able to do that? Because I understand the plan. And you must understand the plan. This is not complicated. You know what? If we had Zoom calls like this back then, I think I could have maxed out in 6 months. Can you imagine? I mean, there's people, I'm sure, from all over the country here, could be all over the world on this call. And when you can get this many people, the message I'm trying to give you, there's never been a better time to be in ISAGENIX. The first year with the collagen, how many are taking the collagen? Just raise your hand if you're taking the collagen. The first year with the collagen, we did $100 million with the collagen. You could build $1 billion business with just the collagen. In our business, in network marketing, 3 things are necessary. You must have a product with emotional impact. It must be visual, and it must be consumed daily. The 9-day was emotional, it was visual, it was consumed daily. That's why we're able to go take off like we did. 19 million, 38 million, 50 million. And then in 2008, we did 250 million. Then we had the ISAGENIX Supreme, we had the 30-day. But when the 30-day came in, the 30-day became our #1 product. 70% of all the weight loss was the 30-day. The product we have today, I joined the company when I was 74. This is a very important point I'm going to make. I joined the company when I was 74. I was not healthy. I was overweight. I had sleep apnea, type 2 diabetes. I was bad shape. I got on the ISAGENIX products. I lost weight. I kept the weight off. I got on the B product when it came out. I did all the daily vitamins. I'm 94. I've been taking the product for 20 years. I just had my blood work done in Palm Beach, West Palm Beach, Florida, Al Sears Institute. They told me my biological age is 73. I've been on the product for 20 years. I'm a year younger than when I started, and I made a fortune. And my family income up to now, the company, think about this, folks. The company has paid out $3.5 billion, with a big $1 billion in commissions in the last 20 years. $3.5 billion they paid out to customers/distributors. My family, my children and I have earned 0.03 of $3.5 billion. Now that 0.03% don't sound like a lot. That's low. But when you're talking about $3.5 billion, it becomes a lot. This company, the compensation plan, has been solvent for 20 years. For 20 years straight, they have never missed a check ever, not once. They've never been late. And the only time they were ever wrong, I thought they overpaid me when I called up the accounting department. They said, no, Jimmy, that's a bonus you won, or it's reimbursement for your airfare to Celebration. So right now, we're in 26 international markets. There's 8 billion people in the world. We're in 26 of the richest countries in the world, 26 of the best markets in the world to do our business. We have the Zoom calls. You can do Zoom calls all over the world. This is the best time to be in ISAGENIX. This is the best time to be in network marketing. I've been saying for years and years to other people, when I was trying to get them to join me, I would say, in network marketing, we build our own economy. We are insulated from the other economy. All during the COVID pandemic, my healthy food came every month. I was never without my shakes, my vitamins, my ISAGENIX Supreme, my cleanse. All my products came during COVID. And every week before 10 o'clock Monday morning, there was a nice fat check in my checking account. Think about that. My biggest week ever, my BV was over 10 million. That would be $13 million wholesale volume. My large group of ISAGENIX distributors spent $13 million in 1 week. Now listen to this. I didn't see or touch any product. I didn't see or touch any money. The company took the orders for the products over the internet, collected the money, and then shipped the product. Every Monday before 10 o'clock, they put a check in my checking account, my piece of the pie. My dear friends, isn't that the kind of business you want to have? Isn't that the coolest business you ever heard of? Network marketing is the best kept secret in the world. It's the best industry you could possibly be in. And Amazon, Jeff Bezos, they do millions, they do billions in business a year. They do tremendous, but they don't pay their customers commission for using their products. They don't pay anybody for recommending their products to anybody. ISAGENIX pays us for sharing the product with other people. And not just will they pay us, they'll pay those other people. We get paid for sharing a product. We pay for teaching people how to be healthy and wealthy. And, you know, people say, how do you do this business? Here's how I do the business. I ask people pertinent questions. I say to them, would you like to be healthy every day for the rest of your life? Yes or no? That's a loaded question. Would you like to be wealthy every day for the rest of your life? Yes or no? Could you find 2 to 5 people that you care about, that you love, that you believe would like to be healthy, wealthy for the rest of their life? And maybe they'd want to be healthy, wealthy for the rest of their life. Could you find 2 to 5 people? I started out with my 2 daughters, and then Susan Sly, and then Leanne Jackson and Karen Rodriguez, and people start showing up. People start showing up. And way down in Australia, Perth, Australia, here shows David and Irene are show up in my downline. They become the #1 income earners in Australia. They're in part of my team. And I never met them. I flew there in 2009 at age 82. I flew there and stayed there for a month. I went from city to city to city. And with David Wood, we did 4 celebrations in 4 different cities. 82, I'm traveling a month in Australia by myself, 4 big suitcases. And they don't have porters there. I had to lift my own suitcases. So my life, since I've joined ISAGENIX, the last 20 years of my life, from 74 to 94, have been the wildest ride. And I couldn't imagine if somebody gave me a pencil and pad and said, write out how you want your life to be from 74 to 94, I couldn't have written this. But you know what, guys? I couldn't have done it without network marketing, and it couldn't have happened without this company called ISAGENIX. Jim and Kathy Cooper have so much integrity. They don't recognize the word as impossible. They don't accept any reality as failure. They just don't. They don't. They're just all positive. They're constantly. I've never heard a negative word come out of their mouth. And Jimmy Cooper said to me early on, he said, Jimmy, I didn't come out of retirement to play. I come out to make a difference in the world. And $3.5 billion paid out in commissions. Have they made a difference in the world? You better believe it. They've made a big difference. They've changed lives for thousands and thousands of people. And it's not the money that's most important, it's the health. My dear friends, I would not be the Jimmy Smith I am today without these products. If I hadn't been on these products for the last 20 years, my dear friends, I would not be sitting here talking to you today. I probably would not even be alive today. So the products we have today, Josh Plant graduated from Harvard University, top of his class and half the time. He's a smart guy. The products we have today, I'm on the trot. If you see my fridge, it looks like it's full of juice. I take the collagen elixir, I take the adaptogen, I take the nootropic, I take the Onyxine, I have the cleanse, and I have the Zango, ain't knocks. I'm a juicer. I'm a professional juicer at 94. I eat healthy. I take my daily vitamins every day. I take my NAD, and all I can do is recommend. I can't tell you what to do, but I would recommend you get on these products if you're not on them. Pick the ones that suit you. Stay on these products. And you know what? I'm going to say something that's a little bold, but you know what the best product is? 100 BV. It's a financial product. You guys have to know that. I mean, that's part of the business. Every business has a, you know, you open up a Ford car agency, you got to order Ford, you got to have a building, you have a big building, have a showroom, and you get a percentage. You get the cars from Ford, you put them in the showroom, you sell them, you get a percentage and they get a percentage. And you got to know the business. Well, it's the same thing here. You have to know the business. You buy the product, you buy it wholesale, you get other people to buy it, they buy it wholesale. There's a wholesale price, there's a retail price, and then there's BV. And you get paid on the BV. And the BV that's necessary to keep your business active is 100 BV. I'm sure everyone knows that. So think about it. As long as you spend 100 BV business volume every month, say you got on the collagen, just the 4 count. The 4 count of collagen would be $157 a month wholesale, and like 107 BV. 107 BV would keep your business active. Where else can you start a business and keep it active for under $200 a month? As long as you have 100 BV a month, your business is active, you will get paid. And another bold statement I'm going to make, as a consultant, if you're a rock solid consultant with say you came in and you sponsored Lisa on one leg and Jimmy Smith on the other, you would never have to worry about money ever again. Do you know that? Ever. Lisa would max out your 2/3 leg and I'd max out your 1/3 leg, or vice versa. You have to know that. And we sift, we sort, and we qualify. We're looking for the right people, not the wrong people, the right people. Everybody's not going to do that, but it's up to you. It's up to you to find the right people, people you want to work with, people you get along with, people you care about, people who want to be healthy. If someone doesn't want to be healthy, they're not going to do this business. If they don't want to be wealthy, they're not going to do this business. There's nothing wrong with saying, I want to be wealthy. Money's not, people say money is evil. Money is not evil. It's how you use money. If you use money properly to take care of your family and friends and do the right thing with the money, money's a good thing. Guess what? You can't live without it. What can you buy? What can you do without money? You can't do anything. And so I thank God every day I've been able to take care of my, my 6 children. I got 35 grandchildren. I just had my 44th great grandchild. I was blessed. I'm so blessed. I had like 35 people here for dinner, Thanksgiving, grandkids, great grandkids. It was like bedlam, but I love it. I love it. And I feel blessed by God to have this beautiful family I have, and to have the beautiful family all you guys I consider my ISAGENIX family. And every person deserves to live in abundance and be healthy and be wealthy. And it's here. We're in the richest country in the world. The money's here, the products are here. ISAGENIX has them. Never missed a check, never been late 20 years. My dear friends, that's a good track record. Isn't that the kind of company you want to be part of? So I'm looking at your faces. You all look so very young. You look like kids to me. So I don't know why each and everybody can't do what I did and then some. And then some. I know Lisa's already done it. Lisa knocked it out of the park from day one. I see Steve. Steve's done a really good job. He's knocked it out of the park. I don't know how you other guys are doing, but I know all of you can knock it out of the park. If we should do this call, like how often you do it?
Every Monday, you're welcome to join us, Jimmy, noon, and we will send it out to the entire company. And one of the things I think that's so incredibly important, and you don't see this in any other company, and I know because I've been in another network marketing company, as you have been, and I have friends in other network marketing companies, there's not a field like this. The unity that we have in this field, it doesn't exist. And I would challenge any of you, give it 6 years in another company, 10 years in another company, and see how many people jump on to support you that are not financially linked, that come to your living room and drive 2 hours. One of my biggest regrets, your 90th birthday invitation, I think I was on stage. I think I was in Spain at the time, and I got the invitation. I almost wanted to cancel for the first time, speaking at an ISAGENIX event to be at Jimmy's birthday to honor him. Where does that happen? You're friendly with other people, I think, when you're in another company and you know people in other downlines, but we're not, they weren't financially invested. There was just cutthroat competition, not healthy competition. And one of the things, and there's so many things about ISAGENIX, is the unity.